Welcome to the 53rd episode of the 30s podcast. My name is Clint.
Uncle Marcus.
We have producer Caesar.
Hey.
Oh my God, and we have a special guest today. We have the actor, director, destroyer of worlds, and husband of Chelsea, Eric Modyman.
I am here to destroy your world. None will.
Oh my gosh.
What's up, gang? How's it going?
Oh, that was chilling.
He had a character ready. That was incredible.
I'm gonna destroy your world, pal.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh man, first.
That's really
Voices. Let's talk about that.
Here we go.
Right away then. Do you do voiceover work? Because both of those voices were perfect.
Yeah.
So yes and no. The most voiceover work I've ever done is I used to do a show at Knott's Berry Farm called The Hanging, which has actors that are on live mic, but there's only about 6 that are on live mic, and the rest are all pre-recorded things. So I would do the occasional voiceover for them, like I've been Green Lantern, I've been Spider-Man, and then one year, it was when Disney bought Star Wars, and we were in the recording booth, and I asked my boss, I was like, hey, with Disney buying Star Wars, like, do we need a Mickey Mouse voice at all? And he's like, oh, well, yeah, but I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And I tell him, like, because I do a pretty good Mickey impression. And he's like, what? No, you don't. Since when do you do a Mickey impression? And I look at him, I'm like, oh boy, what do you mean? Since when do I do a Mickey impression, pal? Oh boy. And he like literally goes into the booth and kicks the person that's in there. I was like, Eric's getting in now. So
God damn,
That was so good.
But I mean, because that is really good, but I would almost be afraid of having it be that good, because then you would be doing that forever if you auditioned and got it.
Hey, work is work. I actually, the current voice of Minnie Mouse, Caitlin Robrock, I used to work with her at Disneyland, and her and I used to do Mickey and Minnie impressions back and forth to each other just for fun. And now, lo and behold, she's the actual voice of Minnie Mouse.
Wow. So she just, how'd she get that? She just auditioned and...
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but she's been a fairly accomplished voice actor for a while. She's been doing a lot of things on Adult Swim, like Golem the Destroyer and Mr. Pickles and stuff. If you watch Mr. Pickles, she's the voice of the little boy that owns the dog. So she's worked her way up. It definitely wasn't like this was randomly handed to you. Here's your golden ticket, Charlie.
Yeah. She's a
Now
working
run
actress.
home and tell Grandpa Joe so we can get out of bed for the first time in 30 years.
When it benefits you.
Exactly.
Then I get out of bed.
I don't know, Charlie. I haven't been able to walk for 30 years. Wait, let me check.
That's cool, because voiceover is the stuff that I've been interested in my whole life, but I'm just always nervous and don't quite know how to get into it.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I've actually had some friends lately that are like, Eric, like, of all the things you do, why the hell aren't you doing voiceover work? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I haven't found I haven't found the doorway yet, but I'll find it one day.
Okay, we'll figure it out together.
Exactly.
We'll do this together. Okay, good.
Before we get too far, I just do want to address my shirt if you're watching.
Ooh, show it.
Happy birthday. Happy effing birthday. But it's Caesar's birthday today, so that's why.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Caesar.
birthday.
I appreciate it. Can Mickey Mouse wish me a happy birthday?
Oh.
Oh, boy. Happy birthday, pal. All right, that'll be $500. Where's my check? Those Marvel movies ain't going to pay for themselves, you know.
God, we need to put him... Yeah, we just need to send that out.
Yeah. Well,
That's all we
it's
have
going
to
to be
do.
online now. So
Now it is.
People will know your voice.
Disney's going to hear this and come after me real quick.
Yeah. Hey, as long as they give us the likes and the subscribes, I don't think they can do whatever they want. So if we're on their radar, we did something right.
Please, hey, watch us.
Or just regular watch, too.
Yeah, or just right. I will take both. Or listen to watch or listen. But yeah, thanks for being on the show today.
My pleasure.
Eric, thank you so describe yourself as an actor, director, destroyer of worlds. We'll get to that part later. So have you always been into acting or entertainment?
So I got into acting in high school. I would say where I got into entertaining people is I was definitely the awkward, shy kid in not high school. Well, I guess then too, but in like middle school and everything. So easy target for people to want to pick on. It's like, hey, look at this guy. He gets easily embarrassed by things. And what I discovered is that if I was doing voice impressions and making people laugh, people don't want to pick on you as much. Because now it's like, oh, he's the funny guy. And they're coming up and not like, give us your lunch money, nerd. Now it's, hey, do an impression, nerd.
Yeah.
So it actually started off with me doing impressions from King of the Hill.
Okay.
And
Really?
I used to be able to do all 4 of them,
Yeah.
and now the best I can kind of get is like, God dang it, Bobby, when you're in this household, we use propane and propane accessories. And now, like, man,
That's
they'll
good,
tell you, man, like,
Yeah.
you know, get a good old boom hour, man. Just got to kind of dangle, I tell you, man, throw a lot of dangles in there. People are like, man, they're really impressed. So that's kind of where I started.
Yeah.
And when I was in high school, my freshman year, they had us meet our counselors. It's like, hello, welcome to California High School. We're going to get to know you and what your curriculum should be.
Yeah.
And I met my counselor, and I was like, well, I like making people laugh and doing voice impressions. Well, then you should be in the drama program.
Oh.
Okay. And I remember going up to the drama teacher and being like, hi, my counselor said I should be in this class. And I guess the class was already overfilled, and she got like so mad at me. She's like, fine.
Counselor just sends everyone into
Yeah.
go to
Everybody.
drama, go to drama, go to
Yeah,
drama.
so and like realistically, when you look at like the people that were in that class, it was like, oh, this is like they didn't know where to put you.
Yeah,
so it
that's
was
like some kid,
Go
it's
to
like,
the drama class.
man,
I really
everyone.
like playing chess. Go to the drama
Yeah.
class. Like, I really enjoy, jumping on pogo sticks. Go to the drama class. They'll welcome you.
I
in
like
there.
setting things on fire.
Yeah, go to the drama class.
class.
They'll embrace you in there.
I have had the cure for cancer. Go to the drama
Go to the
class.
drama class.
Because they don't have a medical class.
Play a doctor there for the school play. But yeah, so that's where I got into it, and then just that's the only thing I like to say. That's the only thing that ever made sense to me
Yeah.
in life, where I was like, oh, okay, I like this, because my parents tried making me do baseball, basketball, karate, art, like everything,
Right.
and that's the first thing where I discovered it on my own, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I like doing this.
Yeah.
So I'd say since high school is when I really got into doing acting.
Yeah.
And then in college, I stumbled into directing.
Okay. Where did you go to
Yeah.
college?
Cal State Fullerton.
Cal State Fullerton. Hey, that's where.
What
you
up?
went. Were you guys there at the same time?
We were
guess
not.
No. Okay. So did you acted in productions in high school?
Yes.
Did you do any outside of school, or is it just a drama through
Yeah,
school?
so I did like the local junior theater
okay.
summer programs, and then once I got older, I did like the local community theater stuff. I was never good enough for Cal State Fullerton. But and then later in college, I got my first sort of professional acting gig, which was I worked at a little melodrama theater called the All American Melodrama.
Okay.
And
Shout
the
out.
person they're gone now, so I guess they're a bike rental place now. But the person that owned that theater was one of the head directors at Knott's Berry Farm. So once that theater closed, he was like, "Hey, come on, audition to Knott's Berry Farm. I think I got a few jobs for you over there."
Oh. Yeah.
And then I met someone while working there that was a SAG actor who cast me in something, and that's how I got my SAG card.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yay union!
Yeah.
Yay connections!
That's cool. That's really how it happens, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
We just gotta start doing the things.
Yeah.
And then bop around in there.
Man.
So you went to college. You got in directing into college?
Yeah.
What got you there? What did you see or do?
Well, I knew I didn't want to be in the acting program.
Okay.
There were one, I was basically, you know that expression of like, we're going to break you down and build you up? Well, they
Yeah.
did the first part. They
no.
did a lot of the, we're going to break you down. And then they were
Yeah.
like, okay, well, you're broken. Have fun. So I basically was like, okay, I don't belong in the acting program. And there were a lot of pretentious people that I was running into, so I didn't really want to gel with them.
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, well, what else can I do that's kind of still in my field? And I had to take a directing class, and I started to kind of find a little bit of a niche in there.
Okay.
So I talked with my head directing professor, and I was like, hey, what would you say if I thought about majoring in directing? And he was like, I think that's a good idea. You really have an eye for it. You have a sense for comedy. So I
Yeah.
think that's probably a really good choice to go. I was like, oh, how much more work do I have to do? One more class. I'm like, oh, that's it. Okay, I can do one more.
Yeah.
So that's when I got into directing.
Okay. And did you direct anything in college? Like, I don't know. I didn't go to film school. He did. So when you're in these classes, do you actually get to make productions? And
I believe you do if you're getting your master's program.
Okay.
But like, because I was just in the bachelor program, the most it was ever like, come see the advanced directors putting on a night of one acts. So
Okay.
Yeah, it was never any like here's the big production of Rent that I'm gonna direct.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I get that.
And then, sorry.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah. So you were doing that. What's like what's the kind of work you want to direct? Like, what's the stuff you really pull to?
So I do a lot of comedies.
Yeah.
Problem is, I've been directing for 10 years and I'm starting to run out of comedies.
Oh, shoot.
Or at least I'm running out of comedies that will fit in the spaces that I work at. Like, there's some that I'd love to do, but they require too big of a set for small houses that I'm in. Or it's also, hey, this is a funny show, in my opinion, but it's more like dark humor. And I'm like, oh, these audiences won't really appreciate these type of jokes.
Yeah.
So currently I'm transitioning to doing more dramatic work, which I had just told my wife last year, like, okay, I think I'm done with most of the comedies. I've only got like maybe 10 left that I can do. I need to start doing dramatic stuff. And then a theater was like, we want you to direct Doubt, which if you don't know Doubt, dear listeners, it's basically a story of a priest and a young boy. Put 2 and 2 together on that, and whether or not he did or didn't do the exact thing you're thinking of. It was a movie that came out with Meryl Streep, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Amy Adams. Really good.
Yeah.
And the show was phenomenal, but we had very small audiences because this was right after COVID, and I don't think people were ready for drama yet. And I was like, oh, they still want to feel good.
Yeah. When you started talking, I thought it was a comedy.
Oh, no.
And then you were describing a comedy like, so a priest and a boy.
So a priest and a boy walk into a bar.
It's like, I guess you could put a comedic spin on that.
Waka waka.
Marcus is like, there's no doubt.
So I did that, and then the next thing I did that immediately followed was a show called Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, which is a coming-of-age story about an autistic child. And again, I was like, okay, that's definitely not lighthearted at all. So it's been interesting transitioning into new work. And one of the next shows that I'll be acting and directing in is a one-man show called Every Brilliant Thing, which deals with depression and suicide and finding things that are worth living for in life. Wow. So yeah, it's a fun little transition, but currently I'm doing a spoof of a certain famous boy wizard franchise that for legal reasons I cannot say the name. But if I say that the author has been in hot water lately, everyone should know exactly who I'm talking about. And the show I'm directing is basically all 7 years of that franchise told in one evening. Yeah. And it's told from the perspective of the Puffs, which are the loser house as everyone sees them. So it's kind of like, what were the background characters doing as all this craziness was going on?
Yeah, because there was really no main character that was part of that house.
There was Cedric, and that was it. And then he died.
And he died. Dead. They got rid of him real quick.
Yeah, so we have him in the show, and there's definitely references. Like, where he dies is the intermission, basically, and there's so many references where at the top of the show, he's like, everyone, don't worry. This will be the only time our lives are ever in danger here, ever. And then right before he goes to do the third task, where he famously dies, the main character says, hey, good luck on the third task. Don't worry about it. I'll be fine. So, yeah, it's interesting bouncing from heavy drama, priest and young child to, wow, here's the Puffs. Yay, 7 years told in 2 hours.
Yeah. Chelsea's in that too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. How long have you been doing that?
Puffs?
Yeah.
So technically, I was in a production back in 2019 with a theater called Alchemy. The one I'm doing right now, we just had our opening night last night. Here's hoping audiences like it better than last night's audience did.
Oh no, what happened?
What happened? Yeah.
So. We had a lot of the subscribers, seasoned subscribers for this theater, aka a lot of blue hairs, and I don't think they were ready for this sort of SNL quick style comedy. I think they were like, we are here for our Neil Simon and Agatha Christie murder mysteries.
Okay.
And then here we're doing this really fast-paced waka waka. And apparently, because Chelsea's in the show, she said this one woman right in the front just had this look of like, what is happening? And at one point, apparently, Chelsea heard her go, God help us all. And sadly, at intermission, we lost half our audience.
Oh my god!
And I was like,
just walked out.
whoa, I have never had
Do they not know what they're getting into
Yeah,
beforehand?
because
That's my thing. Is I'm
about
thinking
the
because
audience.
they're seasoned subscribers,
They
they're
just
just
show
like,
up.
Yeah.
we will show to anything. And
Oh, okay.
like, I think it's a show that people can enjoy if you don't know the franchise.
Yeah.
And then if you do know it, there's so many references.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
one of my favorite jokes is around year 3. This one character comes out and says, "Guys, I'm telling you, the headmaster looks different this year." And that character is from that point out played by a different
Someone else?
actor in the
Yeah.
show.
That's
Oh, it's
awesome.
so
So
good.
there's so many little moments like that. We have a point where the headmaster like screams at Harry. He's like, "Harry! Did you put your name in that little goblet of fire over there? Did you? I'm the definition of calm right now." So many moments that if you know the franchise and the books and the movies, you'll love them. And
Yeah.
I feel like this audience just
just
does
wasn't
not
it.
know the franchise at all. And I don't
wild.
think they were ready for fast-paced super comedy type stuff.
Yeah.
So is that the difference with these theater audiences? They're just people that go to that theater all the time.
Yeah, they definitely like so many theaters I've worked at have always been like, well, we have to think of our subscription base. We have to think of our regular
Subscription.
audience.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm always like, man, the audience is 80. They're going to die off in a few years.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be left with nothing. We
Yeah.
got to start bringing in younger audiences.
Yeah.
So I've talked this theater into experimenting, and I'm hoping as it goes on,
Yeah.
it pays off. Because right now I look like a friggin' idiot.
How long is the whole run?
We run all of this month.
Okay.
I almost said December. The 25th of
Yeah.
June is our closing day.
Okay.
So there's time, and it's in San Clemente.
Yep.
Yeah. You guys do it every night?
Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday matinees.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I guess they're not ready for puffs.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I mean that what you're doing sounds like the way that you would get younger people to come.
Yeah.
And we did it in what do you call it? In Fullerton when I was acting in it, and you got Cal State Fullerton College, so a lot younger crowds coming to see it, and they ate it up. They loved it. It was one of the best shows I ever did. So that was kind of like my selling point when I was telling this theater, and now I'm like, whoops. And there's one board member who has seen the show at another theater who absolutely hated it, and her takeaway, because obviously you have the big final battle at the end of the show, and spoiler alert, some of the characters die in the final battle. Her takeaway was that this show was basically promoting like school shootings. She was like she literally went to the board and was like, "This is a show about children that are afraid to go to school because their lives could end at any moment." And I'm like, I think you saw the wrong show.
That's interesting because I'm assuming this lady's older, maybe like 50s. I'm gonna guess. I'm not old, but that's someone
50s?
who doesn't know. That's not old. Someone who doesn't know Harry Potter. Because like the Harry Potter audience, I think it started in '99, right? Around then, 2000 or something.
Yeah.
It's easy. Look it up real quick.
Because I remember being the age he would have been
Okay.
when the movie came out. You were probably the age he was when the book came
Yeah.
out.
So which was 11.
2001.
2001.
Yeah,
Okay, so
2001. It would have
older
been
than that.
fourth grade. That would have been around 11ish.
Right. So like we'll just say we're the ones that kind of started with it as kids. And then obviously it's such a popular book that kids have read it since then.
Yeah.
That it's like if someone older watches it, they're gonna think that it's like, oh, school. No, there's a lot more going on than just they're afraid to go to school or whatever.
Yeah, and
so
she apparently accosted one of my, because this woman takes like photos that they put up in the hallway of the theater, and I guess she kind of accosted one of my actors and was like, "So how are you enjoying being in the show?" "Oh, it's so much fun, blah, blah, blah." "So you enjoy being in a show where children die?" What? I actually had to call like the owner of the theater and was be like, "Can you tell your staff to not harass my actors?"
yeah,
God,
that was the takeaway.
that's what
Children
they got
dying.
from it.
Right? Yeah, that's what they got from
Shoot,
it.
what kind of references do you have to do? Do you have to do like Spam-A-Lot, make
Right.
fun of King Arthur?
And that's the other reason I was really hoping like our opening night would be this big smash hit, is because I kind of wanted to shove it in this person's face.
Nice.
And they come, this person, when they see me, they come up and they're like, "Oh, what a wonderful show, Eric. I loved it." And this time it's like, "Well, congratulations. And I was like, I can read between the lines there. I get subtext. I'm an actor.
You're like, well, fuck me.
Well, tonight will be different, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, it's our
There's
opening
time.
night, and again, it was all older people. We're hoping we're going to be getting our younger crowd in that will appreciate the references and such.
So they didn't eat it up. Like if you're doing stand-up or whatever and you bomb, you really feel it. Is it the same when you're acting?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
There's so many shows I've been in where it's like you get to that moment where it's like, this is my big punchline, you throw it out and just frick it, and you're like, well, all right, let's just try to get to the end of this now. And like, I don't want to say you ever want to have the mentality of screw the audience.
Yeah.
No.
But I definitely do develop, like, I will say I kind of get that mindset of like, well, then you don't deserve my good
Yes.
jokes.
They don't.
Fine.
They don't deserve it,
You will get the story, but you will get none of the toppings.
Yeah.
Especially when you know it's funny too. You're like, I know that's funny, and none of you laughed.
I had one show I directed that I absolutely hated it, but it was early in my directing career, and I just kind of had to take whatever theaters were giving me so I could build up my resume. And the audience was eating it up. They loved this dumb show. And I was sitting in the audience one day as they're all laughing, and I wanted to stand up and just look around and be like, stop laughing, you idiots! Can't you tell this is trash?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Oh, you weren't in the room yet. Carla was in here asking me about acting for some reason and asked if I was ever into it, ever wanted to do it. And I said no. I don't mind being in front of the camera or being in front of people, but just being somebody else is hard for me.
Yeah, and that's like,
it's hard enough just being yourself.
It's hard enough
for
to be
you.
myself. Yeah.
And there's so many different styles of acting. Like there's shows like I definitely say my strong point is where I can kind of be like an MC to the audience, like, hey, here we are, we're having fun, all right, let's go. And then there's dramatic, like, I didn't kill those people, I don't know what you're talking about, like sort of heavy acting. So it really just depends on what your style is. Like, again, I feel so at home at being just myself up on stage, whereas Chelsea was in a show where we were kind of doing that, and she struggled because she was like, I don't know how you can just be yourself on stage. I need to be a character with motivation.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Because I grew up with, because I worship like the genie in Aladdin.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like he could show all that depth and but he was also like able to just be another character actor kind of thing.
Yeah.
What did you grow up with watching?
Easily my biggest inspirations growing up were Jim Carrey and Robin Williams. So I would say my early high school era, it was very like, alrighty, here we are. We're going to have fun. Who's ready to have a good show, everybody? Yes? Yes, that's what I like to hear. Hence me becoming a Jungle Cruise skipper. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world famous Jungle Cruise. I'm going to be your skipper, Skipper Eric. And unless, of course, you hate my trip today, in which case, what's your name there, sir? Bob? Bob is your skipper, ladies and gentlemen. Blame everything on Bob. And then when I got into college, that was my Edward Norton, Johnny Depp phase, where I was like, okay, now I want to be a little more like serious, like angsty, angry, dramatic. And now I'd say I've gone into what I call my Bill Hader phase because of Barry, where it's like, now I kind of want to be comedic, but like awkwardly comedic and dramatic at the same time. So that's sort of, and like obviously I try to always incorporate what my past as a performer has been too. I never want to be like Jim Carrey and Robin Williams are gone and obsolete from me. But that's what I'd say I've evolved into currently as an actor.
I feel that because Barry totally has that where it's like this is a funny setting and premise, but like he just killed that kid.
Yeah. Funny enough,
spoilers.
I worked background on Barry.
Oh, when?
The last episode of the series, actually. I didn't realize until I watched it. Mm-hmm. And again, just background. I wasn't doing anything big. And there was one part where they changed his blocking. However, they failed to tell me that his blocking had changed, so I kept walking where I was supposed to. and he collided with me so hard. And Bill Hader shoves me out of the way. And I'd like to say he was in character. He was not being a jerk.
Yeah.
But he literally shoves me out of the way and goes, "Fucking move!" And as soon as they called cut, he turned and was like, "Hey man, you okay? Oh man, I'm really sorry about that." But I'm not gonna lie, I was really hoping that would have been the take.
I was gonna say, did it make it into the show? Because that would have been awesome.
I was like,
sorry, man.
I was like, I'm sure that's not going to be there. But when I was watching, I was like, please let me run into him. Please let me run into him. Please. No, they didn't go with that take.
What scene was it? Was it what the setting? Not the
It's the last episode of the series. It's his very first. The very first time you see Bill Hader in that episode, and he's walking up to buy a gun.
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, he just like walks with just such motivation and goes, "Guns," and he just full on collided with me.
Yeah. Oh my, that's amazing.
What did he smell like?
What a meat cute.
we asked that to Chelsea too, because she was next to
Ewan McGregor.
She talked about Ewan McGregor and what's the lady from Game of Thrones.
Oh,
I don't know, but she said she got to talk to them and her like, what do they smell like?
I got to talk to Nick Offerman.
What did he smell like?
It definitely smells exactly how you would expect it to smell. No, because I was on a show called Colin in Black and White, and I was expecting it to be just, casual, normal background. So I show up, and I'm like, where's all the other background actors? And the PA runs up to me and is like, "Eric, oh, we're so happy you're here. Cool. Weird that you know my name. Anyways, here's my costume pieces that I brought." And they're like, "Don't worry about your costumes because we got your costume in your trailer." And I was like, "My what?" My trailer. And I go and I'm like, they're like, "Here's your script." I'm like, "Script?" I didn't have any lines, but they just wanted me to like look over and know what was happening.
Yeah.
And so, they literally like, "All right, they're ready for you on set. We have Eric. We're now in progress on set." And so I get there, the director comes up. He's like, "All right, Eric, before we start, do you have any questions?" "Yeah, what's my relationship to Colin Kaepernick?" And I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I'm a friend of his. Yeah, because the show was about Colin Kaepernick in high school. So Colin in Black and White. So I'm like,
Colin, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I probably should have emphasized that first. Whap, whap. But yeah, so I'm looking through the script and I'm like, "What's my relationship to Colin Kaepernick?" And they're like, "Oh, you're his brother."
What?
Yeah, which that was when I found out Colin Kaepernick was adopted.
He was adopted.
When they said you're his brother,
That's
I was like, hold on here.
Because do you know who Colin Kaepernick is?
I know who he is.
He's the one who kneeled during the Pledge of Allegiance.
I don't know anything else about him other than that, though.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all I knew, too.
He's definitely black.
But yeah, so when they were like, "You're his brother," I was like, I'm sorry, did I miss something here? And that's
you
when
identify as black,
adopted.
okay? Like,
Okay, I guess I can do that. You said it, not me.
But anyways, so Nick Offerman plays our dad, and I see Nick Offerman. I'm like, "Oh, there's Nick Offerman," but don't bug him. Let him do his thing. Why is he walking right up to me instead? And he comes up, "How you doing? I'm Nick. Good to meet you." We did that awkward COVID-19 elbow handshake thing.
Ugh, the worst.
And I was like, "Oh no, I know who you are. I'm a big fan of your work. I just watched one of your movies like literally yesterday before getting cast in this."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, that's very nice. What's your name?" "It's Eric. Nice to meet you, Eric. Looking forward to working with you today." So Nick
nice.
Offerman is a great guy.
Oh, what a
Okay.
dude.
Yeah.
Nice. Who would I ask about who you smelled like? Who's the first name you said before Nick Offerman?
Bill Hader?
Bill Hader. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What was he
All I
smelling?
know is that I smelled like fear from bumping into him. Because I'm just like, well, I'm offset now. Congrats, Eric. You met one of your acting idols and you tackled him almost.
And he yelled at you.
Yeah. And he yelled
He told
at
you
you.
to get the fuck out of the way.
It would have been funny if he wasn't playing Barry. Right?
Yeah.
Like he's playing some nice guy in a rom-com. It's like, oh, hey,
then-
fuck you.
Yeah, that's how you know it's real.
If I ever do get to work with Bill Hader or meet him, I'll be like, "You may not remember me, sir, but this isn't
What
our
if he
first
does
time."
remember exactly? It's like, yeah, you pissed me off in that moment.
Yeah, you screwed up my best take.
Yeah, why do you think Barry's such an asshole? So he could get away with it.
That's always the worst when like your best take gets screwed up. Because Chelsea was helping me with a audition the other day, and I was like, we're feeling it, and she was using her phone for the script, and then someone called her and threw out the script. I was like,
No.
And as I was like looking through the 5 takes we did, that was easily the best one until we got to that moment. I was like, damn, that would have been the one I sent for that audition, but no.
Yeah, sometimes those accidents are good, but sometimes they're not. So,
Damn.
Sorry, my mind is always like, if you don't know,
No worries.
listen. It's like a goldfish. I'll forget something
God.
My mind
2 minutes
is
later.
someone will say one thing that makes me think of another, which will
That's
it's basically like
that's why I have
10
to write stuff
points of
down. And
connection.
okay. That's why I write stuff down. So you talked about the Jungle Cruise real quick. We can get into Disney careers if you want, but careers, jobs. You got to be in the Jungle Cruise. Is that all improvised?
No. So there is definitely a script that you follow. Like if you go on Jungle Cruise umpteen amount of times, you'll probably notice you'll hear the same jokes or a variation of the jokes.
Right,
so you kind of you get the main talking points that they tell you to go over. However, on my very last day of being a Jungle Cruise skipper, I decided to say, screw it. I'm going to say whatever the heck I want. Nice. What are they going to do? Fire me?
Yeah. I know, right?
And obviously, I wasn't going to say anything that was like, hey, fuck Disney. Or, I wasn't going to do anything that was going to badmouth the company or traumatize little kid. Hey, kid, there is no Santa Claus.
Yes.
Mommy, what? It's July. But I told myself, I'm going to say all the jokes that I think would be funny, that I was told, no, you can't do those.
Yeah.
And audience, my boat ate it up. I had this one guy come up to me that was like, I was a skipper back in the 80s. That's the best jungle ride I've ever had in my life. So, yay.
Yeah.
That was fun. But there's always the one. There's always the one person who's got to screw it up. And this little old crotchety lady goes up to my lead.
It's always them.
Yep.
Always them.
The ones that don't understand my Harry Potter show. This little crotchety lady goes up to my lead, and she's like, that young man is not following the approved guidelines.
Oh my God.
And my boss, my lead, he's like writing stuff down, doing some file work for the end of the night, and he looks up to be like, what? Looks to see who she's talking about, and he sees that it's me, and he smiles, and he waves at me. I smile and I wave back. And I didn't know that this is what he said until later, but apparently he looked right at her and went, ma'am, you have my word. He'll be gone tomorrow. And I wish I had known he said that, because part of me, in hindsight, would have loved to have found that woman and been like, what did you do? How will I feed my family?
I have 6 kids.
I've only been on the Jungle Cruise like a handful of times since I was a kid. And I've just always wondered that if you can just say whatever you want, because they do say the same jokes.
Yeah.
But then around it, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's basically like you get kind of like a variation of like, here's 5 jokes you can choose from per thing. But I think everyone finds which ones are always the funny ones.
Yeah.
Have you ever bombed on a boat? Nobody laughs.
Yeah, my entire first month. Because you really got to get the pacing and the timing and everything for it. And I did not know how to like really fill out any of that space. So it would be like, all right, here's a joke.
Silence.
Going. Oh, look, hey, now we got something there. Going. And if I didn't have anything to say, I would throw out a random joke that made no sense at all. And like, I remember one time we got stuck waiting for the boat ahead of us to unload. And I was like, here's a joke for all you psychics. And like, that's like your ending joke where you're getting them out of the boat. And I was just like, wow, I'm bad. And I remember this one lady kept clapping so slow and like looking right into my eyes, like so condescending. Like,
You think she was trying to help you out, or no? She
was telling me like, you are terrible. And I was like, I know, man. I'm sorry. Man. What's really funny though is my very first time on the microphone, fortunately, it was with my trainers and not a boat full of people. Mm-hmm. I learned the hard way to call it a boat and not a ship, because what I ended up saying is, and if you look over to the left side of the shit, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck. And it took me like a good 30 seconds to finally pull the microphone away from me.
Yeah.
And then I just, awkward moment of silence, my trainer's looking at me like, wow. And then I just pull the mic back. Am I fired?
Are you're alone on that boat when you go out, when you're not with a trainer? It's just you?
Yeah, like you're obviously for the first like couple of times you have someone with you so they can give you little feedback things and all that jazz. But once you're signed off, have fun.
Wow.
And do you actually drive it?
It is on a track.
Okay.
However, there are areas that you have to know where you can and can't speed up. A lot of the curves, particularly the waterfall and the hippo area where you're going into the hippo area.
Yeah.
You have to slow it down because you absolutely can derail the boat.
Oh, has that happened?
Shoot.
Have you?
It never happened on me.
Okay.
But if you do, they call it a 6-shot. So there's actually certain calls with the gun that you'll do. I want to say 3-shot, and it's been so long since I've worked Jungle Cruise that I might not remember it properly, or things may have changed.
Yeah.
But back when I was there, I believe it was 3 shots meant, hey, something is wrong with my boat, which that did happen to me one time.
Yeah.
4 shots means, I want to say 4-shot was medical emergency and like, hey, get out of my way, I'm coming in. And then 6-shot was I derailed the boat somehow. And I might have that backwards. Maybe derail was 4 and 6-shot was emergency, get out of my way.
Yeah, 6 sounds like the last case resort.
Yeah. But yeah, so you would literally have to fire your gun multiple times in the air and then get on the mic and be like, Jungle Central, this is the ukulele, such and such. I am currently, 4-shot, blah, 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 coming in.
Yeah.
I did have one time where my boat stopped working, though. And it was at such a horrible... I got a little worried because it's the part where the elephant comes out and squirts you. Or looks like it's going to. And I threw my boat into reverse to, slow down. And I just felt this shift with the boat. And I was like, uh-oh. And the boat wasn't necessarily like still in drive, but I couldn't break it at this point. And it was just going on its own pure momentum at that point. And so I called up Jungle Central. I was like, hey, Jungle Central, this is the ukulele. I am currently 3-shot. All right, but Eric, you didn't give us your position. Yeah, so I don't know where I'm going to end up here. And we traveled from the elephant pool all the way over to where the rhino was attacking the people. That's how far the boat got before it finally stopped.
Yeah.
And could be like successfully rescued. At which point I was like, all right, well, time for some Jungle Cruise stand-up night, I guess. Because the crowd was stuck with me for 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Because it couldn't do anything until I officially stopped, but it was still going just so awkwardly slow at its own pace. So I was like, I guess we're going to have to do some stand-up here or something.
Do you have to suspend reality and be like, hey, everybody, the boat's not working. They're going to come get us. Like, did you have to just, because you're in character, obviously.
Yeah.
But do you have to, like, stop it?
I mean, I would just say, like, for that, it's fairly simple. It's just like, hey, folks, the boat stopped working, which, that works for reality or fiction, and someone's gonna come help us out here.
Okay.
It's not like, hey, everybody, Lightning McQueen has opened up, and now the driver has come out.
Yeah. There's no, like, abandoned ship.
Yeah. Everyone out! Out of the boat! Women, children first!
Jumping into the water.
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to play with you.
You just caused a panic.
Watch out for the piranhas.
Never let go, Jack. Never let go.
Jack, hold me.
Hey, get off. There's only enough room for one on this door.
What else did you do at Disney?
I was a host, which basically is the person that's like, hey guys, Mickey will be back in 5 minutes. He's just got to go get some cheese right now. And I was telling a friend of mine, like, that was such a BS job for me, just because, like, so many people think they can pull some kind of fast one over you. Like, I was literally walking with my character, our shift was done, and someone's like, we've been waiting for 30 minutes. And I just looked, no, you haven't. I had one time where it was our very first shift of the day, like 8 a.m. at the front gate of Disney, and this family comes in, and I'm like, hey, Mickey will be back in 5 minutes. He'll be over on Main Street. You can see him then, but we're leaving. And I was like, I'm sorry, what, did you just come in to get one last look at the park and then catch your flight?
Yeah.
My favorite would always be, we have to catch a flight in 30 minutes. I'm like, well, then you missed your flight, man.
Yeah.
Might as well just wait around and see.
Like, are you going to LAX? You're not going to make it.
Yeah. My favorite, I had this one time where I was hosting a very obscure character, which is Gideon the cat from Pinocchio. Mm-hmm. How he has the fox and the cat that are like, come with us to Pleasure Island and all that jazz.
Oh, yeah.
And this dad comes up and he's like, please just let my son see him. It's his favorite character. And I look and I'm like, what's his name? And the dad's like, what? The cat. What's his name? If you can tell me this character's name, I'll let you in right now. And the dad's like, Okay, I'll tell you what. What movie is he from? That's easy. You should at least know what movie he's from if it's your kid's favorite character. Yeah. And the dad just awkwardly walks away.
Oh my God.
Yeah, something about people in theme parks. They just get dumb. I don't know what it is, because I deal with it too. Like I deal with those people where I'm like, are you like, so say I've been waiting 30 minutes. So I worked in a restaurant. I saw these people sit down and they waited like 5 minutes to go there so they could get whatever. Like, we've been waiting for 20 minutes. And I was like, I just watched you walk to the table. It's not 20 minutes ago.
I think one of my favorite ones, it was just such a weird experience. This woman came up to me and she was like, excuse me, where's Disneyland?
Oh,
and I'm
my
like,
God.
You're in it.
Yeah.
And she's
Those
like,
were the
no,
worst.
but I'm looking for Disneyland. Yeah, you're in it. And then she says to me, no, but how there's Fantasyland, Adventureland, Frontierland. Where's Disneyland? And what I had to tell her was like, ma'am, think of those as like the individual states, and you are currently in the United States of you're in Disneyland.
Yeah. I would get Cars Land all the time because my walk in and out of work, I had to go past Cars Land right in front of the sign that says Cars Land. The big sign that says Cars Land. And I would get stopped all the time right there and be like, how do we get to Cars Land? I just go like this.
I'd have people asking where the castle is, and it's like,
you don't see
turn
it.
around.
Castle, I'd say due north. Just go straight ahead.
One of my favorites was the fireworks were happening, and this woman walks up and she's like, what's everyone standing around for? And I tell her, I was like, the fireworks? And she's like, when are those? They're like literally exploding in the sky.
Yeah. You don't hear anything? People are so dumb sometimes. Did you get any of those kind of weird questions when you worked there?
Yeah, well, like the first celebrity interaction I had when I worked at Cars Land was Nicolas Cage looking up at the mountains of Cars Land and being like, "Oh, so those are the rock structures," and I'm like, "What?" Yeah. What is... Do you want to go on the ride too, Nick? Like,
are you asking if they're actually rocks? I think they're fiberglass. I think they're actually rocks.
You'd see the back of it if you go on the street. Like, come on, Nick.
I think one of my favorite things, some people always want to know how the Cars characters work. They're always like, so does it take regular gasoline? And one day I decided I wanted to quote my favorite movie, Back to the Future, when someone comes up and they're like, so how does the car work? Does it run on gasoline? Actually, it requires something with a little more kick. Plutonium. And these people just went like, oh, wow, really? Wow, you idiot.
God, dummy.
My other favorite thing I would do is people would be like, how does it work? How does Lightning McQueen work? What do you mean, folks? It's just Lightning McQueen. Nah, but come on, you can tell us. How does it work? And I would do this little like look around. I'd be like, okay, look, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but the way it works. And then I'd get up. It's just Lightning McQueen, folks. It's just Lightning McQueen.
Don't do this to me again.
Yeah. See, I would ask those stupid questions. I am genuinely curious. Like with Lightning McQueen, I was like, is it an actual vehicle car? Like they just put a thing over it?
It's
but
basically
it's too
a golf
big.
cart.
Oh yeah, a golf cart. So I know it's not like I know it's like not an actual car, but then I think like, is it like that? Is it a go-kart? What is it? Because you can't see it.
No, because even driving when you're on stage, there's like a speed limit.
Yeah.
So like the carts we would use selling ice cream, you would have rabbit mode and turtle mode.
They had modes.
Yeah. So turtle mode is what you were supposed to do on stage, but no one really did that.
I remember
it's supposed to go real slow, right?
I remember one time when I was in Lightning, they were like, Eric, come on, they need us to be out there right now. And I was like, let's do this. And I put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah. Can't it even go fast? It can't, right?
Like hard, like you can get out and like walk faster than as fast as mode. It felt like some cartoon where I'd be going fast and you'd see a turtle next to me slowly outpacing the car.
Yeah. What's the difference in speed between rabbit mode and turtle mode?
Well, turtle mode is like
because you're like, you're like, oh, I'm in a hurry. Put it in rabbit mode.
hurry. Yeah, it's not that much.
It's like you're still people walking past you.
Yeah.
Rabbit mode.
But then think about it. Think about it. If Lightning McQueen could actually go fast,
That'd be so fun.
Mow people down.
man.
There was one that actually did have a little kick. I want to say it was the Parade Lightning that had a little bit of a kick to
Parade
him.
Lightning. Yeah.
Yeah, because they have the one that was like for the Pixar Play Parade or whatever, and then there was the one for meet and greets. And every now and then, the parade one would work its way over to us if like something happened with one of ours, and they were like, all right, bring out parade lightning. And it was like, oh boy, we get the faster one now.
Yeah.
Even then, it still wasn't like crazy, but it was like, all right, this has got a little more pickup to it.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever try and come up to the car and like hit it, touch it?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
People would always try to open the doors for the car. Like lightning isn't one you have to worry about because the way lightning works is his whole roof opens up. But Mater and Red, the fire truck, have doors that you can open up. And definitely one time someone opened it. I just decided to be weird about it. I just made the most like gremlin-like face and was like, close the door!
Traumatize a child.
There you go.
Just get out. Yeah, that's got to be I wonder if anyone's been hit by those cars in the
I
park.
probably ran into them.
I almost hit Gwen Stefani, so.
Ooh, there you go.
Tell us about that.
I was just driving one day. I probably didn't almost hit her, but I'm just driving, and my person on the outside that's watching to make sure I don't have any obstacles in my way just goes, all right, Eric, make sure you don't kill Gwen Stefani now. And I'm like, oh, Gwen's here? Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Clint.
Nice.
Is there visibility in those things?
Yeah.
So the way it works is they have cameras on them that then project onto little screens, probably about, I'd say, the size of a Nintendo Switch.
Oh.
And it's interesting because you'll have like a back one, you'll have kind of like a right side and a left side, and there's little arrows that kind of tell you like you need to center this to know like how you're driving. So it does take a little practice to drive the cars properly without rearing off to one side or the other.
Yeah. So enough about Disney. You worked at Warner Brothers too, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Is that how you guys know each other?
That's how I first met you. But you guys, it was such a quick time when you guys worked there.
Yeah, we were there for, what was it? Just like 2 weeks for the tour guide. And then I was also Freddy Krueger for a hot second during Horror Made Here.
Yeah.
Which that was fun, but
Yeah.
damn, did I say something stupid one time.
Oh my God.
So my go-to when I was Freddy Krueger was, because I was in an area where I couldn't really see people. I was supposed to be a pop scare, but there was no visible way for me to know when people were behind me.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, all right, if I can't really do a good pop scare, let me do like something that gets under their skin. And my go-to, especially for young girls, would always be getting close.
Oh, Freddy remembers you. Freddy's favorite little girl, all grown up. And the fear is still fresh.
Oh, God. And one day, I'm doing that, and this guy, I don't know if it was her boyfriend or her dad, I don't remember at this point, but this guy goes, careful, Freddy, she's only 17, and my dumb ass goes,
Oh, one more year of playtime.
the second I said that, I'm like, I need to go home and take a shower now and think about my life choices. But then, yeah, Chelsea and I did the tour guide for a little bit, too, and that was a fun 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were supposed to come back and do it again, and then the world shut down 2 days before.
Yeah.
Yeah. What got you into doing the tour guide?
To quote Mr. Krabs, money.
Oh,
money.
Okay.
Yeah, because probably my biggest question for you, or I mean, I guess it's interesting, like being married to another entertainer, but it's like, how do you do it? How do you pay for everything?
We do a lot of odd jobs.
Yeah.
Like Chelsea does a lot of modeling. I pick up all sorts of gigs wherever I can. A lot of background work. When you get a good one, it's like, oh, good. There's my whole paycheck for like it covered in like 2 days do like a month's worth of work, basically.
Yeah.
So, and when we're not doing that, then it's a lot of Instacart and DoorDash, which we haven't had to do for a while, but you do what you got to do to pay the bills. Chelsea and I are starting to get into making demo reels and doing headshots for people to kind of make a new supplement of income, but that has not taken off yet. Like we literally just got all our equipment, so we haven't even done like the, hey, who wants to be our free test subject so we can have something to show to people.
You have one right here.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, I'm down.
You're trying to do that.
Yeah, because that's why I'm also just really trying to gear into, well, stand up I won't make money. Because it's like you got to pay to play at this point.
Exactly.
Or just do open random stuff. But then like voice acting, because like you, I've always been able to do voice stuff. And I'm like, the latest was I was student teaching and I would read Harry Potter to the kids. And that was like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I could just record this and get paid doing this voice
exactly.
reading of this book, that'd be great. That's why like I want to do that to supplement something, at least eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, like right now, so I finally got my first demo reel ever put together because I'd been on Actors
first ever.
Hmm?
First ever.
Yeah, my first, because I do a lot of theater acting and not film, so it's not like I had any film stuff to show off.
Okay.
So I'd been on like Actors Access for like 2 years and no bites whatsoever because I'd be like, let me submit to something, but I don't have a reel, so you can't really see what I got.
Yeah.
And then within like 1 day of having this reel, it's like, let me submit. Oh, look, in 1 day I got more bites than I did over the course of 2 years. So having a demo reel definitely helps because now I felt like no one was even opening my files because it's like, you don't have anything. Why am I going to waste my time? Now there's at least something to be like, look, I work a little bit.
Yeah.
So
when did you do those demos? Because I saw your dramatic one. It felt like I was in the, like back at WB, there was the Lethal Weapon set where it's the interrogation room.
Yeah.
Where'd you do that?
That was in someone's garage.
That was in a garage. Yeah. That was good. That's a good garage set.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just these two guys, Lucky Break Reels. Shout out to them. They're great.
Nice.
But yeah, they're great because they ask like, okay, what kind of style are you looking for? We'll send you like a first draft of a script. You can help improve it. Be like, what do you like? What don't you like about it? And then they set up a filming day, and over the course of 8 hours, you knock out 3 scenes or so.
Wow.
So
That's so cool. Yeah, because that's wild. Because I guess, you would have to do a reel for TV and for screen, but then in theater, what do you do for that?
Most theater places, it's good enough just to be able to show up to audition. Like I haven't run into a lot that are like, we need to see your demo.
Yeah.
Like the most I think I've ever seen is like, send us you singing something.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but for film, it's such a like, you need the reel to get the work, but you need the work to make the reel.
Yeah, that's
kind
why
of
it's
thing.
so tough, especially when we just don't make that money yet.
Yeah. So we're trying to help people out a little bit with that.
And that's the only way we could do it at this point.
Yep.
God, that's why we do this podcast now. It's like, come on in, we'll help you out.
Yeah.
Let's grind, let's do this.
Yeah, just getting, because this is on YouTube, so
Yeah.
like I kind of think of this almost as a kind of like a resume a little bit of just because we do a lot of jokes on here, a lot of comedy stuff, so just putting it out there. And like random people see it too. You would not expect to see it, or like, oh, that person watched my thing and they have a following. So it's like,
funny enough,
wow.
I did a podcast on KTLA. It was called Spoken Dreams, and at one point, like they would say like, "Oh, and our new podcast episode is dropped today," and they had it flash up on the screen, and it was my headshot, and I was getting my car serviced, and that popped up.
No way!
And this woman who's sitting next to me, she just is like looking, and then goes, and I'm like. Yeah, that's me. It didn't help that I was wearing the exact same shirt and my headshot.
That's classic. She must think that's how you look all the time.
Right? Like, this is my one out. I'm the poor, starving actor, man. This is my only outfit I can afford. I got it at the Goodwill.
Yeah, I think just get an agent. That's what you have to do.
I guess, would that be like the next thing?
Yeah, and that's part of the other reason I wanted to make sure I had the real work is because I submitted to like a bunch of agencies around 2020 because it was kind of one of those like, I got nothing to do. I might as well finally put together an agent list and submit, which one, I'm like, that was stupid because who the heck's going to want to take any clients when the world is shut down?
Yeah.
But then two, I didn't have anything to show off for it. So it really felt like, oh, just give me a shot, coach. Just put me in. I'm good for you, I swear.
Yeah, just trust that I know what I'm doing based on no evidence.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm an actor.
Yeah. So we're actually getting
awesome.
towards the end. Do you have anything else you want to ask? I just have Warner Brothers left because we talked. Chelsea had a bunch of Warner Brothers stories. So that the Halloween one, I was at that event because it just did it the 1 year, right? It was the only year we did it, and we had talked about the maze that you were in, and I was like, oh, I think I actually remember that Freddie. She was like, that was my husband. I'm like, oh wow, who knew? How many years later that be in a room together on the podcast.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's only 2 weeks at Warner Brothers. I'm gonna say any crazy stories. Do you have any crazy stories from those 2 weeks?
So not crazy, but it's definitely a cool story.
Let's hear it.
Is so what I like about the Warner Brothers tour versus the Universal tour, and no hate towards the Universal tour because I grew up on that one.
Yeah.
But you get a smaller group and you can customize the tour around who you have. So I was like, hey guys, what are you into? Like, what do you like doing? And I had a group that was really into Lucifer.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. We can go on the Lucifer set today. So we go, I take them into his penthouse, and they're like, wow, this is so cool. And I'm like, ain't gonna get any better than that. And as soon as we left and got on the cart and started driving forward, the lead actor, Tom Ellis, pops out from nowhere, and he's just like, hey, everyone, Merry Christmas, because it was around Christmas time. And he says, Merry Christmas to my whole car, and everyone's like, what? And at that point, I was like, all right, folks, well, I know we still technically got 20 minutes left, but tour's over. I can't top that.
There's no way.
It is all downhill from here.
We're just going to sit in silence and bask at this moment.
It's not going to get better than this, guys.
So,
let's just get to the Friends fountain, take a picture, and go back.
So that was a really good moment that I enjoyed personally, because it's like, how can you top when people tell you this is our favorite thing? And then it's like, and here's the lead actor.
Yeah. The Warner Brothers tour I like that one a little bit more, because you feel like you're more on working sets. So there's someone's going to pop out. There's a good chance someone popping out.
I feel like obviously you have to avoid certain areas, which was always fun, where they're like, by the way, this street, and this street is now off limits. Figure out how to get around it. But at Universal, I feel it's so like, oh, they're working, so we have to be like far away from them.
Can't go anywhere near it.
One of my favorite things when I do work on the Universal lot is whenever I see the tram tours, I'll always be like, start waving at them like, you don't know I'm nobody. I did a Billie Eilish music video, and people could see me working there, and so many people were like, oh, I'm like, cool. All right.
Whenever I'm on the Universal tour, when I see anybody walking around, I'm like, who is that? Who is that person? It's just nobody. It's a regular person.
And you never know though.
Yeah, you don't know. You'll
really
only to
don't
tell.
know.
Because like, oh, that's like the executive whoever of this thing. I don't know.
Yeah, because like even like I would only know certain people because of the podcast that they would do on the lot, because they would do Conan and then Anna Faris's ones.
Yeah.
So if you saw like Anna Faris's friend or like Sona, the Conan's assistant, I geeked out when I saw her. I was like, oh my God, there she is. Probably easier to see her though, if anybody.
Yeah.
But damn, those were good times. So then what? So you want to do more serious stuff now?
That's what I'm leaning into. Like, I don't want to abandon my comedy roots at all.
I feel like you shouldn't.
It's just I need to expand what I do to keep working and challenging myself as an artist.
Try new things.
Yeah. Would you do stand up?
So we got into Marvelous Miss Maisel during quarantine, and watching that, I was like, I should try stand up, but I'm sure I could find things to do. I'm like, I don't want to be that person that's like, I'm naturally funny. I'll get up there and be a hit she. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I should probably take a class and learn how to write and like make a tight 10.
Because that's why it's hard when you know you could do voices and do characters. It's like you can't just get up there and be like, oh hey everybody.
Yeah. So it's like when people tell me, because I've been acting for so long, when someone's like, I've always thought of being an actor, and I'm like, don't insult my career. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Yeah. So I want to have that same level of respect for stand-up comedy. I don't want to just have this notion that it's like, all you got to do is get up there and tell a couple of jokes and everybody will love you. It's like, no, there's a craft to it, and you need to respect it.
Yeah, that's why I'm focusing on writing, so that if I get up there and then I start bombing, I just do my one-man Shrek play.
And there you go.
Shrek, what's wrong, Shrek? I don't care, donkey. Fuck off.
All girls are like onions, donkeys. You ought to be more like cake, Shrek. Everybody likes cake. Everybody likes cake.
It's the perfect.
And then that ends up taking off. You're like,
what?
Really? That's the thing?
Yeah. All right, we have to wrap it up. We're at that time, and I have to go. So, Caesar, plug your stuff before we leave.
You could follow me at Rodriguez Podcast if you want me to produce a podcast for you in the Southern California area, and the other show that I do with my wife, Carla, and Caesar's Modern Life on YouTube.
Yes. And Eric, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. We'd love to have you back.
Absolutely. I got nothing going on.
Okay. You got puffs. What are you talking about?
Puffs. How do people find you, Eric?
Yeah, promote your stuff.
You can find me at, I'm trying to think, what is my website? modyman.wix.com/theater with ER, not RE, because I screwed it up at one point when I built my site. But yeah,
But they both work, right?
emoodyman.com.
Either
right.
RE works. But
Yeah.
That's how I spelled it for the longest time. And
Exactly.
even though I'm not British, but I guess that's how the British do it. And then
It's wrong.
someone had told me you're spelling it wrong. I'm like, it comes up as right.
But yeah, and if you look up Eric Modyman, there's only one Eric Modyman in the world,
Yeah.
Modyman. So there you go.
That's clutch.
Yeah. Who is not a character in Puffs. That's his real name.
That's a great Puffs
Yeah,
character
it
name.
sounds like an HP name. I don't want to say the name. Go ahead.
All right, at the _Clint show, we're doing this.
Uncle 2_ Marcus, the 30s pod on everything else. YouTube, Instagram, all the things. Thank you for being here, everybody.
Thanks for being here, Eric.
Next time.
Thank you for having me.